the way we look at it, where it's like, hey, things maybe that we want to talk about these things because this is the real stuff that entrepreneurs go through. And we've kind of talked about that, like, man, like that's kind of the impetus for our tool Fin, which is, hey, we went through some pain dealing with this. We had to learn a whole bunch of accounting. We were talking about it over lunch today. I said, I know so much about accounting and health insurance and business entities that you can't find any of this stuff online because nobody wants to just give you the straight answer on a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of that pain that we went through, I think, comes from there's no cut and dry answer to a bunch of this stuff. You might make a mistake. I think that's one other thing that a lot of people who've never done entrepreneurship aren't prepared for. I say you will lose ungodly amounts of money.
By the way, I invite everyone on LinkedIn. Every week on a Friday before you go home, write one mistake you made, why you made it, how you're never going to repeat it. But please, don't tell me, and this is how I learned. You didn't learn a shit. Nothing happened. It was just a mistake.
Just a mistake.
Because what people do, I lost $100,000, and this is how I changed my life forever. Why? It's okay. I can probably count 100 mistakes a week.
It's why I created Strictly from Nowhere in the way that it exists today. Originally, it was about me and Mike trying to catalog our story of building a business, but in reality, Strictly from Nowhere today is the trials and tribulations of people that are building businesses today and from years past, and it's this collective consciousness of all the things that both enable business owners, disable business owners, and there is no right answer. There's no right thing, but the common thread between all operators is a step forward and to learn from the things that you've done. You don't even need to implement solutions. It's an awareness play, but most people are in business for the sport of business. And so if you're involved in business to continue to be a businessman forever, regardless of what's happening with this company today, there is an evolution of being better over a long tail. And I think that's kind of a culmination of the conversation, which is we talk about this all the time, is really the pursuit of mastery. I would love to say at the end of this journey of entrepreneurship that I've mastered the game of building businesses. And all of the different facets of building a business, I am a student of. There's nothing that's off limits for me as far as building this business.
But
I want to
if
know
you open a
every
bar,
little thing.
You'd probably fail.
But if I open a bar with people that know the business of opening a bar, but I know how to run a business.
Well, you'd have the wisdom
By
to
our
get
powers
somebody
combined.
involved. Yeah, you'd
Right,
have
I would have the wisdom to get somebody involved.
That
That's
knew what they
correct.
were doing. Because I do think, and it's funny, we've had a lot of mentors and people get a mentor, but I don't think you and I ever were like, let's find that mentor. We just had
The universe
mentors kind of,
speaks to us,
yeah,
yeah.
they sort of come in and out. And then sometimes someone's a mentor for a brief period and then they're not. And then they come back
And other
again.
times people don't even know that they're a mentor.
Yeah, they're teaching. They're teaching
humbled.
us
Let me
things all the time.
wrap us up a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the book that's coming and kind of what is the 30,000-foot elevator pitch for it.
Yeah, so as I said, the business catcher is all about the fact that I believe most companies have been building brands the wrong way, how to fix it. The assumption is that if we do not build a brand character that we can actually communicate with, which in the day in the age of AI becomes even easier, but is a concept, and how everything the business does needs to tap into the brand, see that it creates consistency, and then what is sitting next to it. So if you're doing marketing, is messaging aligned with marketing, which creates consistency, and then how's that going to play out with sales? Then sales say, okay, great. Messaging works, but it's also going to work well with my customer journey. And that brings the company together and moving faster. Now, when we sit on a table, doesn't matter which department, it's not my idea or your idea. We can then discuss if it serves the brand. We're here to help the brand grow, not my political acclaim to get the next role.
What do they call this? Personification? You're giving almost an essence to the business. It's not what my idea, what your idea. We're proxies of the business. Exactly. What is the best idea crowdsourced amongst these smart people for the benefit of the entity?
Exactly.
It's an interesting way of thinking about it, because
it's not the one that screams the loudest.
It's kind of it would be a little bit in contrast to the way that you and I do process resolution, which is if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
And that's actually different, which is regardless of whether it's a yes or a no from me or from you, there is a right answer for the business.
Right. we just always we've operated under that assumption that if we both say yes, that's probably definitely a good thing to do.
Well, we also operate and say, I am the business and the business is me. In
Which
fact,
is not.
that is not true.
More than that, if I come to you guys and we get along and we sometimes brainstorm about ideas, and I'm like, okay, listen, I have an amazing idea, and we like each other, want to work together, and you two say, hell yes, it doesn't necessarily mean that the brand is in a position to say that yes.
True.
That happens all the time, actually. We've had some ideas where we're like, oh, and like people are like, oh, we want to do equity and whatever, and the reality is we're like, I can't eat equity. You know, like I just can't work for free.
So
like,
if you start looking at the things you're saying, and when people come and ask your brand, and the answer is, I'm sorry, in this case, I can't eat equity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what can we do? Okay, so we know that if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. But what does that mean? Now, if you think about it, a lot of brands over the years, right? You say integrity.
Mhm.
Have you ever met someone who says no? There's no integrity in my company.
yeah. Trust.
trust.
Yeah.
Right? Relationship.
Ethics, do ethical
Exactly.
things. We're good.
So you're not, because if you were ethical, you do some nice shit on an island. Now, if you understand that we need to create a way of behavior, and the core values are a way of behaving, and then the language, the words we like or don't like, and these things need to expand. So basically, I'm showing you how to touch point every time with the brand, because as you said, the brand evolves. So you're looking for new messaging. You're looking for something different. That's fine. What did we say before? What do we want to say next? And how do we evolve? So part of the concept of the book is how do we do this ongoing process to ensure that we move forward.
Right. And it's continuous.
Exactly.
And amendable.
And if it's continuous, it also can stay. So if you're doing $1 million a year and you keep saying the $1 million, there's something isn't clicking because it needs to go up, right?
That's right.
But what if instead of going up and down, which happens to most businesses, what if we can keep a trajectory and say, okay, this year we're going up 5%. Okay, what are you doing to maintain?
Right.
And then go up
Right.
again. So, and if you look, almost every company goes either up and down or up and then stalls and then goes down.
Of course.
Because that's the cycle. So what if we can tweak the cycle a little bit? And then I show examples of how to touch it. More than that, and we will discuss again about this tonight, how to pick the smallest things in the customer journey to be the beginning of the rebrand. And not going through a process. Because if I'll come to you guys and say, listen, I can fix your business, $100,000 rebrand. Which today, that's how things
Classic,
operate. And I'm
of
saying,
course.
no, what if we say what was isn't anymore?
I would tell you,
When you-
I can't eat brand.
And by the way, the only thing we eat that helps us eat today is brand. But what if we do it the right way? And then I give examples in the book of actually great success stories where we doubled businesses in weeks. By the way, business is similar to yours, so we can take that as an example tonight. We doubled in 8 weeks. Just because we fixed.
I can eat that. Yeah, you-
All of a sudden, the guy can eat a brand. Look at that. So I will give some examples, but you understand the concept.
Well, before I let you go, I
What's
have a
this?
gift for you.
Thanks, man.
Just a little token of our appreciation. You know, few people have been rocking with us since literally the beginning. So
Nice.
the only way I know how to show my appreciation for you is to make you one of us.
Oh, this is great.
And so in the vein of advertising, less marketing, less branding,
Done.
there you go. You can walk around as a billboard for
You
me.
know, I went to India. I went to South Africa with your shirt. That's why I don't have it now
Well,
anymore.
there you go. Now you're covered from head to toe.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Well, Nir Zavaro, thank you for joining this episode of Strictly from Nowhere, and I wish you forward to extraordinary.
Thank you, guys.